What's up, Hamley? All Point Hammer here. With over 2,000 plus hours in Escape from Tarkov, hundreds in Arc Raiders, and many more hours in extensive FPS experiences, I tried out Marathon today, and I put 4 hours in total in Marathon, playing trios and mainly solos. The pros I have to say are the guns feel crisp, they deliver a good, satisfying feedback, and overall, the guns feel decent to use. Gunplay is somewhat smooth, a little clunky with some of the movement and trying to prioritize your stamina in the correct way. The objectives overall have a decent strategic depth to them. Some of them are kind of puzzle based, which feel nice to do. The AI minions are unpredictable and pretty tense. However, they kind of do seem to lollygag around if you're around a corner and don't know what to do, but they are massive in numbers, which make it, very engaging, but sometimes difficult to deal with, especially as a solo. The maps provide solid layouts and the graphics are pretty competent. The details in the game seem pretty good overall, even though I'm not particularly a fan of sort of the Robloxy look, but nonetheless, the graphics and the look of the game and the FPS seem pretty good. The cons I can say definitely outweigh the pros, and here's my take on them. Primarily, this game is PvE. Within 4 hours of gameplay of trios and mainly solos, I only came across 4 to 5 player runners, is what they call them in the game, that I encountered. To me, that is way too low for a PvP BE game. The AI was excessively strong. I tried to solo a legendary minion boss, and with blue, like other AI around with blue shields, etc. And they're nearly unkillable, at least the legendary minions, the purple and the legendary, especially the legendary. And the rewards from killing them didn't feel that rewarding to me. I never killed the 2 legendaries that I came in contact with as a solo, but I did kill a purple, and the loot felt lackluster. The map overall, like the gameplay loop in the map while you're actually in the game playing, feels very disjointed. In the extraction pacing drags. It just doesn't feel like there's good player flow and map gameplay while you're running around the map. Once you hit a POI, the game feels pretty good and seems to have a good depth in that area for you to do things in. But floating from POIs just feels very awkward, and it seems that's where the most fights happen, is when you're trying to rotate to a new objective and then you stumble across someone looting, or you run across someone trying to get to an extraction. The gameplay loop and just the overall pacing of it just feels off. But yeah, so with that being said, the player encounters are sparse and dull. The TTK is very inconsistent. It's way too high for the AI, especially like blue, purple, and legendary minions. They feel super prolonged and just not very intuitive or engaging, especially when you're like far away from an AI. They just seem to kind of walk around oddly, and you have to just dump all of your ammo into them, and then when you come across a team fight, you barely have any ammo. So I don't like that aspect of the game. Then the TTK for players is just way too high. There's not a lot of room to make mistakes if you don't have like a tanky character or a character that can do some rejuvenation in your overall health. So this just felt very odd to me, that the TTK for players was super high but really low for the AI. The menu system is extremely cluttered, confusing, and way too complex for an extraction shooter. I think that this needs to be finely tweaked because there's way too much going on and is very confusing and takes a lot of time to figure out and to get your kit back loaded up to get into the next game. Overall, the game it just underperforms for me. I think that I would give this probably like a 5 out of 10 at its current standpoint. Plan to look at the reviews and potentially revisit it at launch, but as it stands, it just was very underwhelming to me, and I feel like it can deliver a lot better gameplay loop and playability if they just fix some of these things that we talked about already in the video. That being said, I'll continue to focus on Deadlock and prioritize my time there. However, I will be looking at this game again on launch.